right, welcome back to the Friday show. I'm Scott Jagow, along with Ray Paulick. And guess where we are this week? We're in Battery Park, New York, as we get ready for American Pharoah's attempt at the Triple Crown in the Belmont Stakes on Saturday. The question is, will 13 be the charm? Will the 13th time be the charm? Since Affirmed won in 1978, we've had 12 other tries.
Yeah, and it's been an interesting week, a couple of weeks. You know, it's not always about the horses. There's all these drama, the sideshow. But look, let's talk about the horses. Let's not talk about the sideshows, right? I mean, this is about the horse race.
Yeah, but the people involved always seem to. There's always something. Recent history. Yeah. Rick Dutrow, 2008, the whole steroid thing, and then I'll have another who actually didn't end up running in the Belmont, but there was all the controversy around Doug O'Neill. And then last year, it happened right after the Belmont, when Steve Coburn was complaining about the whole Triple Crown series. So there's always something.
I guess even if you go back to the 70s, Affirmed, our last Triple Crown winner, his owner, Lewis Wolfson, served time in jail for securities fraud. The owners of Seattle Slew, and you know, they were fighting all the time. And even go back to 1973, the great Secretariat, Penny Chenery recently admitted that she slept with her trainer, Lucien Lauren, during that segment. I mean, can you imagine if that happened today? Twitter would just go blow up.
It would be crazy. But anyway, let's get back to the horses. All right. So let's go through the field one by one. Post position number 1 is Moob Tahij, the foreign invader. He's just the wild card. I mean, Mike DeCock has this renowned reputation, and he just does things his own way. I mean, 5 workouts in the last 2 weeks at Belmont Park. 5.
Yeah, this is a throwback. Nobody trains horses like that anymore. Come on, this is more like the 40s and the 50s when horses were really had a good foundation put into them. I kind of like what he's doing, though. It's really kind of cool.
You can't argue his pedigree. He definitely has the pedigree to go a mile and a half.
That's right.
That's for sure. So
he's going to be fit.
That's the one thing we know.
Yeah, that's right.
The number 2 horse is, of course, Tale of Verve. I said after the Preakness that it was kind of like Tale of Swerve because he was in and out in the stretch. I'm just not sure the Belmont's going to set up for him as a deep closer.
Yeah, Dallas Stewart seems to just keep coming up with these long shot runners up. I don't think he's going to win the race, but he could be a late factor, I suppose.
Made from Lucky is in the 3 post position. Of course, trained by Todd Pletcher, who is off to a phenomenal start at the Belmont meet. 49% winners, 39 starts, 19 wins, and then 12 others in the money. So he's on a roll. He really does well at Belmont. And Made from Lucky, of course, has the foundation of the Peter Pan, which Tonalist did the same thing last year.
Right. I'm not sure if he improved a lot to win the Peter Pan, or if it was more the fact that American Pharoah wasn't in the field for the Peter Pan, because he chased American Pharoah both in the Rebel Stakes and the Arkansas Derby.
And the number 4 horse is Frumento, trained by Nick Zito. I seem to remember a couple of horses in recent memory trained by Nick Zito who came along as bombs in the Belmont and won.
Well, this horse will be a bomb if he wins, just like Birdstone was when he beat Smarty Jones, and DeTerra was in 2008 beating Big Brown, who was pulled up. So I don't really like the horse, but Nick Zito has this way of doing unusual things in the Belmont Stakes.
Yeah. So of course the next horse is number 5, American Pharoah. And if you just look at the horse just by himself, I mean, he has the tools to win this race. Maybe a little suspect on the pedigree,
right,
but the way he moves, his natural speed, it really does fit well with this particular event.
If the track comes up wet, which I don't think it's going to, it looks like the forecast is going to be pretty good, but if it comes up wet, as Nick Zito said, God help us, because this horse, the way he won the Arkansas Derby in the slop and the Preakness in the slop, he just glides over the surface that other horses struggle with. So, you know, how is he going to handle Big Sandy if it's dry? I'm not sure. I think he is suspect on the pedigree, and that's why I'm going against him.
All right, let's move on to number 6, Frosted, who finished 4th in the Kentucky Derby, kind of running against the grain a little bit. His pedigree is nice, and I know somebody next to me likes him.
I like Frosted to win the Kentucky Derby. He didn't win. He's the only horse that really closed ground that day. The top 3 horses ran, you know, like they were on a conveyor belt around the track, finishing 1, 2, 3. Frosted is trained by Karen McLaughlin, who's got a pretty good record at Belmont Park himself. Great pedigree, bred for the distance. I really like Frosted to win this race and upset American Pharoah.
Moving on to the next horse, that is the 7, Keen Ice. And this would be my long shot in here that I really like. I think his pedigree is great for the Belmont distance by Curlin. In his previous races, he's been a deep closer, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to have him pretty close. I would not be surprised to see him in the top 3.
He's always closer at the last call than he is at the first call of his races. He's trained by Dale Romans. I'm not sure if Dale is more of a first call or a last call kind of guy. I'm betting he's a trainer, so I'm betting he's a first call kind of guy. So Keen Ice is not going to get my money.
All right. And the last horse is the number 8, Materiality. We've already talked about how well Pletcher's doing at Belmont so far, but the horse himself, I think you can toss the Kentucky Derby because he didn't come out of the gate well. He had all kinds of trouble in that race. He still finished a respectable 6th and was still coming at the end, and he's the only one in this field that has the natural speed to go with American Pharoah. So I think he's A, going to be a factor, and B, if American Pharoah doesn't go to the lead, I think Materiality might. He's my pick to win.
Well, I think you're right about Materiality being the only horse in the race that has a chance to go with American Pharoah early. I'm betting that at some point in this race they're going to hook up, and they're going to hook up and go pretty fast. And to me, that sets things up perfectly for Frosted, which is why I like him to pull the upset.
All right, you're going with Frosted. I'm on Materiality, and we're all anxious to see whether American Pharoah can pull it off. We'll have lots to talk about next week. Thanks for joining us this week on The Friday Show.